Is this it?
This is it. We're
Oh
going
dear.
to go.
Here we go.
Welcome to Cypography.
Thank you, Elliot.
It's been a long time coming. I've been asking you for some time now.
You've been teasing me, yeah?
And you've finally succumbed.
Yeah, I know.
So to give people just a little bit of a rundown what we're going to be doing over the foreseeable future, it's going to be a rather unique look into your fishing. You know, you've done this sort of thing in the mags over the years, but now we're bringing it to life in video form.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yes, I am actually.
So today we've been running around like lunatics since I got here early this morning. You were moaning at me as soon as I pulled up that you were missing shows because I was 4 or 5 minutes later than I said I would be.
No, I would say 8 or 10 minutes actually, come on.
How would you describe your fishing? You know, how do you see your fishing in comparison to what you imagine other anglers do day to day?
I just think it's as hardcore as it goes. I mean, I'm fast approaching 53. I'm very mobile. In a nutshell, the best way I can put it is I'm just a relentless hunter. I just know I've got to be on carp all the time. It doesn't matter how long it takes. If it's an hour, 24 hours, no sleep, 10 lakes in a day. I just know, I need to know when them rods go out that they are on fish. I can't camp anymore. I've done that over the years and yeah, it worked, but it's all about the hunt for me. It's the only way I can put it. And people have over the last few years just say, you're just relentless. Like that drink, relentless. And it gives me probably the biggest buzz. I mean, all right, I like catching them and that, but that hunt to get to them, all right, the end product is holding the carp and that, but the hunt before it means more than holding the carp. And finding them, it's just the excitement and the thrill and the buzz of watching them. And you know, like I've said many times on the internet and to yourself over years, it'd be brilliant if someone could follow me around for a year and maybe people would realise what I'm all about.
Where does that come from, do you think? Has that always been in you, or has that obsession for fishing in that style developed over the years?
Oh. I'd probably quite a carefree attitude to life, and I suppose the only way I could say things changed is when the two Marks, Marky Mark, Mark Shave, drowned at Raysbury. It sort of brought, I don't know, or it made me realise sort of maybe what life's all about. It's quite a sort of sad time. Don't really want to dwell on it, even though it's 13 years now since he's gone. And it's just made me realise nothing's forever. And I love carp fishing, you know, it saved my life at least once or twice instead of going other ways.
Can you imagine a life without carp fishing?
No. No. I need it to live. Even my wife knows that. Mind you, she needs to get rid of me. You know, nicely, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I can't, no. I need the outdoors. I need to live outside. Oh, just look at this. Look, it's just, you know, it's mega, innit? You know, this is my office, if you want to call it that. And I utilise the fact to catching carp to the max. You know, it's just, I mean, I'm not a big head in any way, shape or form. I forget what I've caught over the years, and just because I just move on to the next, and just as time goes, I might put a memory stick in and look for a photograph. Oh, Christ, I had that carp and I'd forgotten about it. And I don't think it will ever disappear. But, it's the big but. I've done all the circuit fishing, let's call it that. I can handle it occasionally, but I just like to be places other people don't go. Maybe to the fact of you shouldn't be there, let's put it. Finding these and just hunting old English carp, you know, it's each to their own, isn't it? You know, I used to be really keep it real, I still am, but I've, you know, life's too short and I just need to keep to my own beliefs like everyone else does, you know, for whatever reason it is. So
a day in the office, you call it, you know, you describe it as your office. How does a day in the office of Jim Shelley begin? What is your routine?
Well, first I've got to get out the most easterly point in the country, which is Lowestoft. And I would say a lot of you people have maybe been to Great Yarmouth and you know what a nightmare it is to get out of there. So A12 to Ipswich, or you go the other way to Norwich and hit a motorway. Either way, it's 30 miles-ish one way maybe, and 50 odd miles. So it's like an hour before, and I could be much further than that if I only had to like drive, let's say 10 miles and be flying on a motorway.
You're travelling huge distances all the time, aren't you?
Yeah. When you're in the most easterly point in the country, and it's Suffolk and Norfolk as well, they're the two counties close together. There's nothing there anymore. I don't really want to dwell too much. What was special is some have died, others have been eaten, you know.
So what about the lakes like the lakes we're fishing today? What time do you get up? What is the first thing you do when you get up? Because you're known for, and I've seen you, like I say, I've just spent a day with you. You don't spend a lot of time sat in your bivvy looking at your phone or reading a book. What's the first thing you think of when you get up?
Right, I need a supercharged coffee. That is the first thing, you know. I sleep like an animal because, I've been up. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to walk for 2 hours trying to find them. I then went back to sleep. I then got up at 5:15. Then I met you, and I won't go to bed until 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And I'll probably be, if I ain't happy, because I'm not 100% happy where I am now, the shows ain't very good. I'm gonna have to get up again in the night. It's just an inner drive. Sometimes it all works fine, and other times you have to stick that little bit more effort in, which is savage effort you're giving it already. After that, I have to get up, and then I normally just cut water and wake myself up after the coffee hit. Then it's just focusing, and you just got to focus and get everything kicked in to watch. And you know, last week it was cold. It was freezing cold, and you've got that wind hitting your eyes, you've got water running, you're trying to bounce it with your glasses on, trying to protect them. Can I say the word, I'm shit myself to miss anything, you know, that's the only way I can put it. And once I'm happy, I'm still not settled. You know, I probably won't even set my bed up or anything like my house, because things can change. And I think as soon as you get a house up, or you lay on a bed, you're on the phone. Yes, I am on the phone a lot, but there is times and places, or you're asleep. You know, you're not paying attention to the great outdoors. And it could be one simple sign, and I don't mean a carp, like a bird spooking on an area where you can't see a carp, but they've obviously seen it. And I don't want to miss anything. You know, if I've got 10, 15 years of breath left in me, I just need to keep catching them while I can, you know. Age is creeping up, but I'm still relentless, and, you know, and the drive is, I think, unreal. And I just keep walking and looking. And if I'm not feeling it on a lake, I'll go somewhere else. I haven't got a problem driving 200 miles somewhere else. I haven't got a problem checking 10 lakes in a whole day. It's not wasted information, because the other thing is where you've got to look at it is on the way home, if you've baited somewhere you know, you can't do it when other people are fishing, but you've baited somewhere, that's somewhere to look back 3 days later for your 4th night or your 3rd night, and it's happening. So you can make things happen as well.
How many hours a day do you think you stare at the lake?
Well,
if you're awake for 12
hours. I've got bags
hours.
all days, all the time, all the time.
You don't like not being.
Well,
I've
look,
seen you.
I'm not just putting this on for you. We were doing things earlier, and I couldn't see the lake, and I'm pulling my hair
You
out.
hate it, don't you? I
You
can
know,
tell.
like this morning, you're doing me head in because you're late by 8-10 minutes. I could have missed the show. I'd see a show come out twice before that, and you know, and I'm just going, oh, but I've got to meet you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's all day. It's all day. It's all day. Like, I take time off from tuitions, let's put it like this, where I can go like I could go 110% day and night, and I might have, in this 6-week period from May to mid-June, I might get like an afternoon power sleep, but it's rare. Like, that's when I've woken up tired and I've fallen asleep. I mean, for instance, the lake we're fishing now, I was supposed to be going to a social weekend tuition I had done just down the road. Found a fish, I was knackered, nothing all week, and I found this fish around this spot. Just for instance, I knew I was like mentally drained, and I put the rod out, only on a marginal spot, fell asleep and woke up to a 48-12 common. You know, that's how much. And I woke up, I weren't worried about the rod, I was worried about, God, I'm going to be late for a 48 hour, you know what I mean? But that's just what you do.
Have you adapted your approach over the years to being able to fish in this style, i.e. you see something, you are very quickly able to react and have rods fishing?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it, I'm known as a big baiter. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. I'm not saying I don't put bait in, but I really don't want to get controversial and all the rest of it. But there's a lot of sheep out there, and that's the only way I can put it, in a nice way. People who watch you on the internet, on the bank, you know, you might catch, I'm going to go, someone might come in next door to you and mess it up, or opposite you, or Mr. Carp's scared and he moves on. So I just go, it's find them, cast from bait and catch him. That is as simple as it goes.
Earlier on, I mentioned the wind direction to you. I said, what way is the wind blowing? And you said, I don't really know, I don't really care. All I care about is where the carp show.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, you're going to see a special carp in a minute on video. And I'm telling you now, that Storm Freya, right, there was no way I would have fished on the end of that wind if I hadn't seen them. Simple, because it goes against, it was freezing to the fact I had to change clothes because I was too cold. It was unbelievable, but I got 3 bites in 17 hours. And all it was a show. And when you look at it, it was see them, walk round there, got soaked, and then the heavens opened up for 3.5, 4 hours before I could go round, and I'm soaked. And then I go round and it's all happened. And it's just that one sign, or them load of signs, and it, you know, and that surely when we all go, we're not going to look good. I ain't. I'm not going to be anyone. The end product, I love the hunt, it's always the hunt, but the end product is we all want to hold a carp, but a lot of people don't seem to. I've got to be really careful here because I don't want to sound like I'm digging at people too much, but people don't sit and do a risk assessment. Like, for instance, when I do a tuition, meet in a car park, they get out of the car, bang the door. Now, most car parks, someone's got to swim there, innit? You don't know this if there's a carp there, do you? But if there was, you've just told them you're there. And when you see someone load a barrow, I've counted 38 bangs of that door. 38 bangs. So you think, a lot of people, I mean, they put I mean, they either put a house up first, not the rods, or they put a marker out, then they spawn the hell out of it because they watched it on a video. You know, they haven't done a risk assessment. And you've got to think, what would upset you if you were Mr. Carp? And that's the way you've got to look at it now, because they're just getting bombarded all the time. And it's no different when you're hunting unknowns, rare carp, put them like that. They know, they ain't stupid, noise and all the rest of it. But people don't seem to worry about things like this. You've just got to do a big risk. Before you get out the car, like I say to people, before you open that door and get out that car, think first and then act. And then see how it changes. What would upset me? You know, noises. So as soon as I find him, I'm not worried it's 80 yards and I drop 70 yards or it's 90 yards. That's the zone. And I just can't. A marker rod, I'd never really use a marker rod. I've just cast my own lead around.
You want to be near them, you're not worried about being...
No, I just, it's by that tree, looks about 50 yards, that'll do nicely, you know. And all I'm worried about is the drop, you know, and seems this winter I'm catching more on hard drops, which is, I'm a silt man. I have caught on silt, but the way I'm fishing seems to lend itself to bites more on that hard drop. So, I mean, you commented when you saw me cast out, I weren't happy with the drop and I picked it up and then felt the lead down again, like that. I can understand, I'm not bouncing over gravel bars and doing the hookings, because I'd feel that with a braided main line. But I know there's no weed out there at the moment. I'd feel it straight away. And if I felt anything as I picked that up, I would just bring it back, do you know what I mean? And I'd just bounce it along. With the slow sinking pop up on a 20-inch spoon, it's up and you just pick it back up again and feel the bottom. Oh yeah, there it is, nice. So I'm not casting a marker out there, trying to find a hard spot and scaring them off. I'm not chucking loads with a lead. I just like to try and do 1 or 2 casts, maximum. You know, when I'm happy, that's it. And I'm not worried about the baiting, it doesn't have to, I'll just put some baits out. And
how have you ended up with this 20-inch boom? You know, because everyone will think Jim Shelley, chod rigs. They used to think,
yeah,
Jim Shelley, throw loads
the
of bait in.
Snowman dark side rig, of course. I've been doing it for 3 years. Sometimes I like a pop up in the winter, but you don't always need a choddy. Really, you only need a choddy when it's weedy. And there was an awesome period with long running chods that I absolutely annihilated waters. You know, as long as it was on a silty bottom, I didn't really care, to be fair. Cast to them, it was quiet, 1.5 ounce lead, but then I've come to this, like the hinge stiff rig, and I've gone, well, I've now upped it to 22-inch booms. I mean, when we sorted this, me being out on Cypography, we had a long conversation and about many things, and I explained, and you just couldn't get your head into it, and now you've seen it all set up, and it's something that's evolved over 3 winters, and we all know sometimes YouTube is not the place to see all of that. You don't want to see it because it messes with your head, but you're getting done. You can't always use braided mainline, which is no stretch, so you get the ultimate bite detection. It is a massive edge. And then, but when you pull it tight, anything that happens on that rod, like it could be a line, if I get a bleep, something's that occurred, something's happened. I've just seen one come out where I put that left hand rod, maybe 15 yards, 120 yards behind it, going left. Maybe 30 yards behind it actually, now I'm looking at it.
How excited does that make you feel? I can see in your eyes.
Yeah, so now I'm going to fixate on that. Right. I fish 4 rods a lot, wherever I can, especially winter waters. So a normal hinge stiff, I'm just going to go 10-inch, 12-inch. First started doing it, one on a 10, one on a 12. and then it was 16 inch or 14 inch, something like that. It was a little bit longer. But I was getting bites, no bites on the shorter one and bites on the longer one. So it was no different when I got to that long running chod of 3 foot, 4 foot, up to 7 foot long running. Because I just tried things on another rod. I swapped the rods over. The shorts didn't do anything on the take area where I was getting takes, but the other one rod is going. And I got to 20 inches, and then I tied one up this year, 22, and it's still going. But when you're looking at it all, let's say that's 20 inches and it's popped up 1.5 inches, and then I've got the top bead on the helicopter on lead core 6 inches up. The movement you've got involved in that, I want them to move it, I want them to take it, I want them to lift off the bottom, because as soon as Mr. Carp goes from that to that, he's in a problem here then. And then as he touches this, and then he hits that, and then I've got the solar, I'm just going to call them, they're the new like bobbins, but I do a little thing and they got turn them from a swinger into a quiver. And then I set it up, I pull, once I get the line out, I manipulate the line after I've dropped a big 1.5 ounce back lid down, and I get it so tight it goes into a butt clip. And then I've got another clip by just this side of the butt ring, and then I put it in there. Now if anything touches that, it's on, but normally I get about 20 to 25 bites in the winter, and it's a single bleep, right? And you know something's going on, you might even see it, like, and it's just moving gently, but there's nothing else is happening, no bleeps, nothing. And it averages between 2 and 3 minutes, and you'll get another bleep. The longest it's been is 9 minutes before any other bleeps. And it's not a coincidence that rod has suddenly decided to go. It can't get rid of the rig. But you've got to remember, these fish ain't moving around so much in the winter. They're slower. They're more slow and methodical. And they feel that hook going, they're not actually spooking, they're running off. Most of the takes you get, it's just beep, 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 the rod tip's going, and they might get it out the first clip. But if you do get a take, it is something to behold. The whole setup is, they're not happy. The hook holds are unreal. You know what's going on as well. And talking to probably my best fishing friend, Stevie Alcott, and he just says, proof's in the pudding, mate. And you always seem to find something that works, and that's basically it,
A rig's something you think about a lot while you're fishing?
No, because I just use 3. One's a choddy, because look at it like this. Look, say this is the weed bed. How are you going to put a rig in it? You're going to have to. That could be 2 acres, and you get the carp scare out, and after 2 hours you might find one spot. But Mr. Carp's gone, innit? Or you've upset him, he's not happy. But you can cast that long running choddy out there and you're fishing all the time. That's how it was so deadly. And then when it's a little bit more, when it's clearer bottom, you don't need a chod rig, even though it's so deadly. But I just use a hinge stiff rig. A lot of the time, any way forwards is backwards. And in my opinion, the only step forward in carp fishing rigs is a choddy, because it's the only thing that you can cast a 20-pound setup into weed and get them out. Because if you put a zig there, you're not going to get it in. It's just a bite and headbanger. Let's put it like that. And then later on, when things change, smooth bottoms, they're more on the bottom, they don't pop up so much. I just go, because, it's no special, it's a liner setup on a 2.5, 3 inch hair with a snowman. It's the old always works, And
do you use the hinge at this time of year, I'm guessing, because the weed isn't up? There's a lot of dead weed around and you can cast it at anything.
And I've got that bead up, so we can call it with that. I've got a fair bit of leeway with that movement, haven't I? Yeah, like that. So But once that weed starts getting strangly, you know what, I can't have that in my head. It might be sitting up there, yeah, okay, it's fishing maybe, but it's not right, is it? So once that happens, and I pick rods up and I can feel it, no, choddy. Because I need to know that I'm fishing. If I've spent 15 hours to find them, I've got to know that I am fishing, you know, 100% effectively.
When you mentioned about you spent 15 hours finding them, I don't think I've ever seen anybody as excited, and I speak on behalf of other people I know that have worked with you over the years. I speak on behalf of people I know that have fished with you over the years. They all say, when you see a carp show, you're the most excited person that they've ever seen when they see a carp show, and it's every single time that you see one.
Yeah, well I don't know, it's like, look today, I see 3 this morning, we've been around, all right, we'll leave something else out, talk about that another time, all right, what we've seen today, but it's just, yeah, there they are, you know, I put my rods one way, didn't I, and I said, oh, I'm going to put one out that way, all right, it might be 30 yards behind, but they're very rarely on their own. You know, they might have a couple of mates with them. They could have 20 there. The pack I was scared or caught from, let's call them I scared, and might be somewhere else over there. You know, and I did see one over there. The only carp I saw yesterday was basically where that one come out. So, but yeah, as soon as you see one, it's like, yeah, happy days. It's brilliant. That is the drug of carp fishing. It is the drug. It's what you want. What you're willing to put into it is what you'll get back from it, you know. And the more you work, it don't always work or happen, but
you'll put in all your effort into finding them, and when you see them, that's the ultimate.
Yeah, you might not catch this time. Look, where I caught these 3 to 38.8 last week, I'd seen them there, and I'd caught one there the week before, but they'd moved the swim. But it put me in good stead. There they are, 21 shows in a day. You're having a laugh in the freezing cold. But it worked. So the next trip, when I sat here, there's one, there's another one, go round there, get wet, like I said. Then you think, why didn't you go round there with your rods anyway? And then it like rains for hours when you're sitting there waiting for that moment to quickly go and get set up. I had nothing to worry about, there was no one else here, and well, I get all my rods done, so it's not like one cast, 20 minutes next cast, 15 minutes next cast, 20 minutes the next cast, which is a total load of noise. I call it a minute, an hour. It's 1 rod, 2 rod, 3 rod, like that, and then I bait up, and as I put the 3rd rod out, the 4th rod went out, and as I got up from tightening, the 3rd rod went, and it was the first one, 27-pound common. And I got the rod back out after the pictures, before it was dark, and then just at first light, single bleep, even in the winds, no bleeps, so I know something's happened. And went out there, a few more bleeps, pulling my chest waders on, and then I had this common, like, it's a red thing, that's all you can call it. It isn't robin red, like people have said. I'm adamant that this fish lives on bloodworm, and that's why it's rarely caught. Look at that, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Happy days. Nice ice, baby. Loving it. What a lovely carp. Love it. Hold English all day long. Let's get her back now. It's one I've wanted, 30-pound 6 ounce. So that's 2 off one spot, and then the rod to the right, which went down so hard like it was on concrete, like almost give me a feeling like it had been really cleaned off, like, or rubbed against a lot, maybe all winter, and I was surprised that that spot never went. Anyway, I was having, because I'd been up a little bit in the night because of the wind, you know, You can't sleep well, you're worried about your bivvy being blown away and all the rest of it. Anyway, got a bleep. It was 10:15. Just as soon as I lay down and you start to like relax and you just start to shut your eyes. Yeah, typical, isn't it? That's the way Mr. Carp gets you back. But anyway, went running out there. Another bleep. Line's all tight. Pick the rod up. It's not taking no line. As soon as I've picked the rod up, and you can feel it's a chunk. It probably took a good 30 yards off of me, and I'm on braided main line, so you can feel everything. And the wind was blowing that much at me against the rod, it was hard to actually feel how much pressure. So a lot of the fight I was looking at the rod because I didn't want to rip the hook out. Anyway, after about 10-12 minutes, after knitting one purling one in between the other rods, I got him in the net. And it's a very, very special and very desirable Cam's babe, this is the only way I can put it. It's the immaculate carp called Coins. And when you see the pictures, I think you'll understand how it gets its name. And this fish has been kicking around in the bottom of this lake, I don't know how long. It's just one of them old special ones. And catching them is what it's all about for me. Got one of the lake's rare ones, scaly jobs. You ain't gonna believe it when you see this baby. She's 38 inches. Cam's cracker, scaly as they come and as old as they come. Totally off the radar, and that's what it's all about. Happy days. Look at that. Wait till you see this. This is just like, I don't know, different dimension. It's blowing a hoot, it's cold, it's unreal. Thanks Sean for giving us a hand. What a beast. Oh man, look at it. What a setting as well, eh? Real urban. Monster baits, plum ice. There you go. That's what it's all about. Unbelievable. It's just so cold. And they're on it. Look at that. Hello, darling. You don't get much better than that. So 3 carp in 17 hours and I never got another bite for the next 24 hours. But I had another night, but it's, even though I could stay, my inner self told me, leave it, let it go natural, get the lines out, go, you've spooked it, put a bit of bait in and leave it. And that's what I've done. And we're now back on the next session. Didn't catch there last night, they've definitely moved somewhere else. But I'm pretty sure they had a feed when that next load of wind coming over the weekend. But I can only go fishing midweek. Weekends are my family time, and I love the balance, you know. It's like on the way here, I'm buzzing my head off to get fishing and find them and get my rods out and all that. And once my time is finished, whenever I decide, because I do go home early, if believe it or not.
Don't lie, Jim.
Yeah, I do. Not lately though, but I'm buzzing to get home, you know, just to see the family and my wife and that, and do all things what other people do in family life. So I love it. Plus I need a wash.
This time of year, you know, if you're going to ask anybody how do carp behave in the spring, you're probably a very, very good person to ask based on the amount of time that you spend looking. No one can take that away from you. What's your opinion on how carp are reacting to weather and that at this time of year? You know, you're looking around the whole lake all the time, not just what a part of the lake you think they're in. So it gives me very much the impression that you think they could quite simply be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, even when I'm happy and the rods are out and I'm on them, I'm looking for the next move, because you know, it doesn't mean you're going to catch or anything, but you know, what you got to think is like, look, they're laying in a lake, it's freezing cold. If you put your hand in cold water, I know it's their world. We're lucky enough, we can go indoors and enjoy central heating and all the rest of it. They haven't quite got that, apart from high pressure on a calm sunny day, and they can get some sun on their backs. So it's like they're getting to the point, you know, they know it's all changing, daylight hours, you know, and it's just the noise. They can hear everything, the birds fighting. It's the same as I know when I know spring sprung 12 weeks ago as far as I was concerned, and it looks like we're going to have a mild spring, and it's no different. But you know that they've been laying up and it's cold. It's cold. The problem is, it's not right now, it's in the next week or two when they want to be up more than they want to be down. And you've asked me questions about zigging, and I'm sorry, I don't do that. I can't foul hook a target, a big and a special one, and I don't want to lose one of them. I'd rather blank. So I still fish where they are, where they're showing. I try and find shallower areas, but everything's different. You just don't know. Like I said to you about them captures, I would have never ever had fished on that cold wind, never ever. And if I hadn't seen them, I wouldn't have been over there. I'd have been like most people, back of the wind. It's warmer, but they weren't there. But they shoe. And I think they woke up, you know, the oxygen in the water must have just buzzed the hell out of them. All the sediment lifting up, you know, not really just ticking over a little bit of munch here and there, living on their fat reserves. And then they can pick things off. Weed beds are smashed up. You know, you've seen it all on the wind, didn't you, Elliot? You know, we took some photos of it, you know. Bugs, snails, they'll drop. They're having it, aren't they? You know, it's that fur, and it must be fairly, I don't know, dead out there. It's been, I mean, how many mouths are out there with all the fish, not just carp, you know, little fish, eels, roach, rudd, bream, tench, you know, the list is endless, and it gets depleted, doesn't it? So if you can find them and you're doing the right thing, they can almost be really easy to catch. But as soon as that happens, that third, fourth or first week of April, things can go a little bit, you're just like, I can't catch him, I can't catch him. You know, that's when it can become a little bit trickier. Baited areas and shallow reed beds, definitely reed beds and snags and shallow areas, definitely worth, I'd be looking for them. And if you're very, very, very lucky and you can get them going, floaters. I mean, the water I'm on here now, when we had that 20 degrees, I was actually floater fishing for them, but the seagulls messed it up for me. But there was a chance.
You're going to see them in the upper layers, aren't you, a lot from
Yeah, you know, we've seen them today, haven't we? You know what I mean? So, you just got to find them. You know, always, you know, walk around with something. Because let's say you found them and then you walk away from the swim, you might be standing, someone might have already seen, well, someone just goes in there. By the time you come back with your gear, you haven't put a bucket there, or you're like, I put my phone even on my glasses or a top. If I found them and I haven't got anything else, I put that there and go and get my gear, because it's another situation you've got where you're buzzing because you found them and then someone else is in there and you've lost it. It's exactly the same as foul up in one or losing it at the net on a zig. Sorry, Elliot.
Okay, so you've mentioned, you know, that even when you see one, you're never sort of settling. What makes you settle?
Darkness. As soon as it's
you
dark, yeah, you know. Sometimes I don't find them, so like the question I'd say to myself is, what do you do then, Jim? Well, go to where the last carp come from, go to a backup plan where you've been baiting, the last place you saw one, and then watch. You know, it's a bed, a brolly, and you know, I don't even have a kettle. It's a metal mug and it's minimal, so it's not like a big thing for me to pack up and move. It's not like, oh no, I don't really want to do that because it's going to take me half an hour. It's like 10 minutes, and I'm like this at the back of the motor. It's minutes, and I'm off. I'm gone. I don't, you know, if I got up at 2 last night and found them, trust me, I would put myself out and move if they were coming up. If I saw 3 or 4 shows, nothing's happening in my swim, I'm moving. It's just, I'm not here to blank. I'm here to flipping catch them, you know, and I want to catch them, and as fast as I possibly can. Sometimes I have to on the waters I'm fishing, because people want you off because they don't like carnage. But I can't help catching carp. I love it. That's what I like to do. And in my own fishing, I'm definitely not jealous about anyone catching a carp, even if it's a target. I'm not, doesn't bother me. I remember Mary coming out next door to me and Kev Cummins had it, and it was shitting my bait out, and it done me, as simple as that. But to see that carp, you know, I was a no one, probably still am really, but because that's the way I look at myself. See that carp, imagine seeing the biggest carp in the country then, you know, but I caught it on the same bait, same rig, nothing changed the following year. So, you know, it just wasn't my time.
Every day now, the weather, unless we get a beast from the east like, you know, we did last year, you'd think, realistically every day now, things are improving. How much does that fill you with joy, the thought that the winter is just slowly moving backwards and away from us?
Hold on, mate, I fish all winter.
Yeah, but you must enjoy it. You've got to be looking forward to this more.
Yeah, but I love the winter because it sorts the men out from the boys. And I've caught, I don't know, I'm going to say 45, it could be a few more carp since December, and I've only blanked once. I've caught them under the ice, and I mean proper nice ones as well. And I've caught from 8 venues, as far as Kent. So, yeah, you know, listen to the birds. But when you're an outdoor person, you appreciate things like that. It's one of the reasons I like watching something like the Alaskans, because it's, you know, if Jane could sort it out and get me there for a week, I'd love to experience that, because you imagine that is the ultimate hunting, in it, and surviving in that cold. Yeah, definitely. And look, you just got to take it in. Look, more daylight hours, you watch everything. Each time I come back to the lake, it's like 3 or 4 days later, and that tree's greener now. And then you start seeing all these bugs. Look, they weren't here last week. You know, they're all there to feed, like that robin singing in the background there. He's got eggs somewhere. And when they hatch, this is what they're all feeding on. It's all just about to go bang. Same as Mr. Carp. He knows the score. He's got to sort himself out, because, well, if we suddenly go in the way the weather's the weather is these days, we could have 20 degrees in all of April, and then they're spawning. So, you know, they can't go backwards. They're busy now. They're up and they're not going to go back to sleep. No way. It might get a bit slower if it goes cold, but they're still feeding somewhere. They've got to feed. They've got to, or they're going to die. Simple as. But you just imagine, you know, this just unreal. This makes me tick. I love it. Love it. In all ways, Elliot, not just the spring, you know, all of it. And people following me on my Facebook page saw me catching carp in -7 under the ice, and you know, it can be done. I just love it, but there's one reason I do like doing it. Look at it like this. If you have a break for the winter and only go out when someone's catching because you've seen him catch, or it's 20 to 15 degrees, but I'm like so focused and oiled, and I'm just ready. Like Mr. Carp, I'm Mr. Carp's worst nightmare. It's as simple as it goes. Can't say any more, Elliot. There you go. Mr. Carp's worst nightmare. I've seen things that are massive. Massive. Kiting like hell now. Danger zone. The thing I saw the other day, I don't even know how big. This is my first 40 out of water. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?